Yeah, it's pretty cool. Well, this week's profile looks pretty healthy. You have a gap, bunch of single prints, tiny node, and a bunch of single prints.
Today was awesome.
Oh yeah, today was very good. I just wish I could have traded a little bit more.
How's the little guy doing?
He's not screaming. I
That's
don't know.
good
That's
news.
yeah, yeah. I didn't really get much sleep all night. But yeah, he's better. I guess the first antibiotics that they gave him at the clinic kicked in. I guess immediately. He had some kind of bubble and an ear infection, like an air bubble or something. I don't know what they said. Water bubble.
Yeah, today on NQ, I told everyone when we broke 94, they were going to 0-4.
That's beautiful. So you caught 90 points.
Yeah.
That's very good. Let's see. Wow.
It actually went
Uh,
lower, but yeah.
yeah, but this is a massive area that a lot of people are shorting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a very dangerous zone right here.
Yep.
But I guess tomorrow we'll find out who's been swimming.
Well, from the voice chat, we were live. I mean, we were short before that, but once I saw us break 94, or I was saying before it happened, I was like, if we break 94, we're going to 04.
Yeah, I mean ES had a lot of weakness pre-open. I posted something in the morning, but yeah, that was a good day. Let me see this. I want to see the daily just for a second. Well, we got a lot of people here on, so we'll start here in 2 minutes. Get everybody a chance. I'm just looking at daily profile. Come on.
I bet those people that bought at the top are really mad.
Well, that's the point of the market. One's liquidity for the other, right? So if you're not reading
Yeah,
it
it was like,
correctly and you're buying at all-time highs, then
yeah, like it's crazy that Friday was just erased, like as fast as it was created.
yeah. I mean, remember, if there's no participation, what we talked about, right? There's no volume and you're not spending a lot of time. Once you crack that sell button, like where it really triggers people selling, there's no interest. Nobody had interest at those levels. Now there's even less interest, right? You have a gap down here. So let's see. Let me see what's going on here today. Wow. Wow. They're giving you a lot of info. Wow. That's pretty big though. Remember how we talked about you have to have a really long selling tail or buying tail to start ending the, auction in one way? I would consider this to be one of those tails right here. And you have a gap down, and I would say they didn't really attempt, right, to recover a lot, even though it seems like 100 points, but they're still not above, I would say, that level right here. Once they crack that, then things start changing. Do you guys see why? Does everybody see it, or why would that level be important? Like this zone, it's pretty
Single.
wide. I mean, we're talking about 907 right here, 908 to 793. I'm giving you a wide area, but there's a lot of value area spent here, right? A lot of value area lows, highs, lows, and then you have some overlap to the upside, right? So if you look here, see I guess you guys don't see the candles, but you see how much value is being built in the area, and there's no breakaway on the value area. All of these value areas are overlapping. Even this one, when we talked about being a tight, that it was a tight value area, if you guys recall from the class, there's not a lot of volume, not a lot of time spent here, and now you're basically back. Especially if they lose this tomorrow. Let's say they're rejected below 909. It'll be a really fun day tomorrow, because then you have another week that looks identical to this week, does it not? To fill, Like they haven't filled this yet. So there's a gap they have to kind of fix here, right? So anything below this, you really open up, a disaster, right? And I would probably take this FVP here and start looking at this data a little bit. It's really interesting data. So we almost have equal number of attempts to be below the value area low in the first sig, then also on the high end. 1, 2, now we spent 3 breaks to above the first sig, and we had, I don't count this one, 1 small breaks here, I would say 2, 3, so 3 and 3. So now let's see what's going to happen, right? Typically they kind of ping pong in between, right? So if they don't find value here, which is your first sig, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, and if you're not finding value above, then you have a high chance that you're going to revisit some of these levels. Not going to be a straight shot just because this is where a lot of volume happened, right? So, but you see the distribution, right? Maybe you can't from these profiles. Perhaps not that. So now if you guys look, I mean, you have a nice little distribution here. So maybe they start looking to fill here, right, up to this node. And, you want to wait for a break to see if that's going to play out, because this is a pretty wide balance and it takes time. Well, not lately, right? They've had pretty silly days where they gap up and run 200 points. So it's almost like they do it fairly quickly here between up and down. But there's a lot of volume here. So imagine what's going to happen once you crack in between these areas and you get initiative sellers here, or let's say, as we have been getting responsive buyers below the value. But if we get some initiation here and they actually break this balance, this is going to be pretty ugly move, up or down. Okay. Let me go on ES first. All right, so
Hey, I have a question.
sure.
So would you treat that zone like a consolidation zone?
Correct.
Where you say we went out of the zone, and if we come back in, there's a big possibility that we go to the bottom of it?
Yeah. So when you look at it, right, and structures, when I mean brackets are, they can be deceptive to me and you and others, right? So initially we had, let's say we had a bracket that was looking something like this, right?
Yeah.
And then the bottom of that was, I would say, probably here. So if this is what we're counting, then we know this is the range we've been playing in. And typically when you're playing in the range and you go look above and fail, well, most likely they got rid of the inventory here because people were really market buying because we exploded, right?
Yep.
If your only market buys or sells actually move the market. So there was a little bit of buying here, but then they failed and they brought back inside the first sigma and the structural range here. So if they can reclaim this, let's say POC tomorrow that's sitting at, what is this, like 18, 20, maybe 22. If they go here and they look above tomorrow and fail right here in this zone, this becomes a really, really high possibility that they're reconfirming that there's no fair price above this POC, that we're going to have to look lower, right? And then the next volume node would be somewhere around here. Like a massive node would be right here, somewhere around here. And then the next one. And so you would play, because it's pretty wide, right? You're talking about, between these, it's 170 points between the high volume nodes. So, and you see how they fill these nodes up. They're telling you they're pretty happy trading here. They tested the range on the initial run from here to here. They set the first range and then they come back and they fill this fast. Whatever they had gaps and weak volume, they basically came back and fixed this run here. And let me just not extend it. See if that makes sense. And you see how poor this was? There's just a little bit of volume here and then pop, nowhere, nothing on the bottom, minimal on the top. And look how this one shifted it. It fulfilled that weakness where the liquidity was missing. And They traded it there and they found a fair price. Then they didn't agree. And then, of course, you had another gap up above this node. So that leaves this space against skinny for repairing, right? So if they fail this area, they're going to explore here.
Okay.
Yep. But
Thank
it's
you.
a range, it's a bracket.
All right.
Okay, so on ES, let's see. Oh man, there's a lot going on here too now. All right. Do you guys recall what were our analysis on the class when we talked about the monthly expanding, but we said something was slowing down. When we did the directional performance, what was slowing down?
The value area?
The value
Yes.
area, what like
We said the weekly time frame was slowing down, if you guys remember, right? We said the monthlies, there was no slowdown, and the weekly had a little bit of slowdown with the value area overlap and the really tight value area, right? If you recall, February kind of helped itself, but not as much as it did previous months, right? Does everybody recall that? Maybe not, but check
Yeah.
the class and then hopefully it makes sense. So if you look here, this is your value area, high of the last week. I also explained when the value area is smaller, what are the chances of doing an 80% on the tight value area prior week than it is on the wider one?
A lot higher.
higher.
A lot higher because they don't have to go through super wide area of points, right? They have a narrow, basically reverse zone, right? And if they're, you see how many candles it took, a few hours to get from the top to the bottom here. But look at this value area. It's going to take a lot longer, right? Especially if this, let's say, node doesn't hold where we are. Then you're looking at filling this in and potentially aiming to hit this 49, what is this, 77? And then ultimately hitting the bottom value area low of this weekly profile. And even here now, when you guys look at it, we had these 2 weeks, this one tight value area, then we expanded higher. But if you look here, we're slowly, going to overlap potentially here for a down move. Value area low falling in, but the POC is still up. So overall, you're still, even at this moment, they're shifting value area higher and the price is lagging. What is that telling you? Is that bearish?
No, kind of bullish.
Okay. Anyone else?
Can you repeat that question? Sorry.
The value area is shifting higher this week, but the price is going lower. Look, value area is shifting higher.
It means more is being sold up higher because the volume is higher as it's being sold off.
Okay, that's a
Like
good point.
the other time frame buyers are stepping in because of the wider value area.
This is not finding value up there.
Okay, we didn't find value up there, right? So we shifted and we rejected that area in a POC. And when you have a P-shaped profile, if you reject from the top, what would that mean? Like you're in a really bullish profile, you went to the top and then you sold off, and let's say you close at the bottom of that P-shape. What is that telling you?
Look above and fill confirmation.
Okay. Anyone else?
That's the end of selling the
Of the uptrend.
distribution.
Be a short cover rally maybe, and then the seller showed up.
Okay. So if you're really bullish, you really should not have left, right, some high volume nodes that they did not create. If you guys remember, there was not a lot of high volume nodes that you could play here, right? It was all skinny here. Well, it's still fairly skinny here. So now when you think about, how can you figure out what's going on? So you're at the POC, and let's say this week, remember, this is weekly profile. If we close this week at the lows, would that be, in your mindset, you went higher and you had the highest volume top, but the price went down? So I just told you the 2 clues, right? I gave you the width, the pretty wide, and I gave you a clue on volume and price acceptance or rejection. So how can you measure the directional performance once it's closed? If you close on the low of this profile, that would be really, really bearish, right? Because then you're putting pressure, right? The sellers are putting a lot of pressure with volume at higher prices, and we went away from that, right? Because if we were buying on the bottom, if something was so cheap, how long would it stay cheap? But it's so good. How long would it stay cheap?
Be a V shape.
Not
You'd be
long.
nabbed up right
very,
away.
very fast.
Selling climax.
It would be the price would appreciate super fast, right? Especially, you know, the extreme examples, right? You put an Apple iPhone 15 Pro, you're gonna sell it. You can buy it for $150. Would you guys just buy one?
No,
buy-
I'd buy a few.
No.
Okay, so there's the human greed, right? Oh, I'm just gonna buy more, and what are you gonna do?
Sell them at a higher price.
Sell
Yeah,
it at
sell
higher
it for
prices,
more.
right? And everybody hates capitalism, right? So you would sell it at higher prices, right? You would look to make profit and, you know, keep a phone for yourself. So when the price drops so fast, it might not stay there because the inventory available at those prices might not be there, right? And until we close this weekly profile, do not make assumptions that we are very bullish or bearish at this point. Are we out of the current weekly balance? Are we out of the last week's balance?
Nope.
Balance means
No.
in this area, if you're new, that means this week, here's our prior week. And our balance means this value area right here. Right? And we care because of that, because if they're trading in here, it means what about volume?
They're in balance or they're happy.
Where's majority of the volume on this profile?
Oh, at the bottom.
POC.
Right, where the
POC.
value area is, your value area tells you that there's 68% of the volume here, right? So everything outside, there's not a lot of volume, right? So even though this node looks pretty good, right? It was created a node compared to some other profiles. But look what they did to a node like that before, right? They cracked it when they were in higher. So until we close below this level here, you're not really bearish. Is there a price action that can again come here and go, you know, below? Yeah, but let them do that. Let them do that without you market selling here. Instead, do you really want to be initiative seller here on a weekly low?
No.
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 Okay. What I'm doing now is I'm teaching you guys the difference between predicting and reacting. When you're predicting, I would say 99% of the time, you're going to be doing market orders. Does anyone disagree? If your analysis is correct and you anticipate buyers or sellers at a level and you looked at all the factors you need to look at, you won't miss a lot of times. Is there chances that you will miss? But yes, but you will have to accept that risk if you do miss, that you were not part of the 51% that was correct. And you just step out of the way, right? And is there a chance that it can happen 4 times a day? Yes. But that depends on your technical ability of reading the charts, right? If you start hitting too many market buttons or, you know, buys and sells throughout the day, the game looks rigged, right, towards you, and you hate the game. And if I'm hitting some of you guys, you know, indirectly, I don't mean to, but a lot of you guys, you need to let the trades come to you. And I don't know if you guys ever heard that, but you know where else that can be applicable directly when you're trading? Do passive sellers let the trades come to them, or they chase the price?
They let them come to
They
them.
wait.
Passive buyers and sellers don't move from the bid or the ask. They stay there and the price reaches them. If you start trading like that, where you're looking at the market and you're making less trades and you're focused on the best probable setup, and without being greedy, maybe they'll reject here and I'll miss 2.5 points. But what if they just slice through your level and they run 35 points and then they hit the level you wanted short and you oversize and that one doesn't work? Then you're going to be double mad and you're going to be thinking, man, they're just all against me. because your emotions compound, and then once they start compounding, you guys start doing bad things. You start creating habits that are really hard to erase. And a lot of you guys, and I've talked to some, you know, I'm gonna bring him up, like Finn's. He had 12 days straight green. Has anyone had 12 days straight green? Possibly doable. People have them. You have runs, right? It's a good feeling when you see that, but you know what kills that?
Oversizing.
The next
Too
day,
much confidence.
13th day, you come and you lose it all. And for some of you guys, I'm not sure what clicks in your brain to change your behavior. Why do you change the behavior after a hot run? When you have a hot run, you're supposed to do opposite of sizing up. You're supposed to take your money away and play some defense. Does it really matter if I don't trade today? Today I came in late. You know, after I wasn't even gonna trade, honestly. If I didn't want to jump on a Discord, I wouldn't have even traded. Like, treat yourself to a day off. I mean, think about if you work for a company and let's say your manager comes in and gives you, hey man, take 3 days off. And he's like, and you tell him, hey, I don't have vacation. He's like, no man, just take 3 days off. How would that make you feel?
Excellent.
It's nice, yeah.
You'll be appreciated. You feel like you're important. How about you pretend you're the boss, because you are when you're trading, and you tell yourself, man, I'm just gonna take a day off today. I'm just gonna do something that I haven't done in a while. Go get a drink, enjoy, you know, go somewhere. Enjoy the freedom of being a trader and behave like one. There's days where you will not have the trades and setups, but rather you're gonna get in on the hope that something's gonna work in your favor so you can hit some daily stupid goal of making $100 a month. You're actually gonna blow up your account because you've been on a hot streak and your mindset, it turns into a gambler. Oh, I made so much money, I'm good, I can't lose it. And then the ego kicks in. It's like, man, size down, size up here, they're gonna bounce. Size up here, they're gonna bounce. And you keep sizing up, and guess what happens? They just keep going lower. Then you get destroyed, then you blow up your account. And some of you guys have to understand the, you know, the longer time frames. I don't mark these levels, you know, weekly high and low for no reason. I mean, for you guys, it might be a level. For me, is the price acceptance at the extremes or not, or rejected. On ES, I think we talked about 51.23. Does anyone recall that level from the watch list?
Yeah, that 123 was major.
Why was it major?
Oh, now you're really testing my memory. I remember the number.
It's not about the memory. It's about understanding the concept. You want to understand the concept. Why was 23 important?
I think it was like some kind of a POC
Wasn't it
somewhere.
a previous all-time high breakout?
That's correct.
Oh, sorry.
Right. So prior week, an all-time high breakout was here. And this was our balance from this, you know, very wide range that we had. We talked about if you come, remember, and you crack that, there's a high chance you're gonna, I wrote it this morning in the chat, that there's a high chance you're gonna hit 102. And, you know, some of you guys are not happy if you're to take a trade where you're risking 5 points to make 21. Is there anyone that would not take that trade? Just so I understand, like the logic. Is there anyone that would not take a trade where you're risking, let's say, 5 points to make 20?
No, that sounds really good.
So I guess most of you guys would prefer to take this trade. Like, it would make sense to take the trade. And some of you guys might say, well, how do I know it's gonna work, right? How do I know it's not gonna crash or, you know, go above? How do you know? How
You
would you know?
don't.
You don't know
Don't.
it's probabilities.
It's about probabilities. It's somebody that tells you they know. sometimes there's a difference between confidence in what you're seeing and truly knowing. And some people exaggerate and say, yeah, for sure. But that for sure still has risk, right? There's only two things that are guaranteed: taxes and death. Everything else in the stock market is not guaranteed. And some of you guys take it really absolute, like you're talking to a child. This level will hit and it has to hold. Yeah, but if it doesn't hit, if it breaks, then somebody's awfully wrong, whether it's me or somebody else, but you're playing the probabilities of your setups and what is the market telling you. It's telling you, for instance, we have some weakness. They're selling being picked up right at the previous time where bulls needed to touch and literally bounce. And they touched this pre-market, did they not? This level?
Yep.
So if they touch the pre-market, shouldn't you see like not a lot of resistance up? If that was the case, you would just get a rocket from here and tomorrow we should wake up at new all-time highs? Because that was a breakout level, right?
Yep.
Wouldn't that be the expectation? If the price is accepted, this has to first defend. You're in a major up run. You're in a bullish trend. But then in the after hours, you get no bounce like that. And then you get these little weird candles, right, throughout the night. And then as you're coming here, they're trying to hold it and crack, and you see the weakness. Again, of course, many setups here on retail. The re-offer or bear flag a lot shows up and then they accelerate down, right? Would you say that this volume is, an uptick compared to the prior day? Yeah, I would say there's a little bit more volume here. When you zoom out, it's a pretty above average volume for a couple of at least 20 days. So there's some selling that's going on. But right now, if the bears can't break this level, what is the price telling you then?
He's probably going to want to find a higher new all-time high.
Well, it's going to stay in the value. That's all I know. It's going to be in the value. I don't know about the all-time high yet, right? But they're going to be in the bracket. I know that.
Yeah, they're happy there.
100%. What I don't know is if they're going to hit a new all-time high, right? Did they grab enough liquidity here, right? And they didn't even make a lower low to scoop everything up here. Are they going to have enough build up here and liquidity? And, we have, I believe, J Powell tomorrow or the next 2 days speaking. So might not be the ideal market to trade, right? So you might want to be careful a little bit with your sizing. Okay. We have to hold this level if they want to go. And then you guys, if you remember, there's some levels here between 60 and 52.5. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah, there is axis out there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of access there, right? There's a bunch of single prints on the daily that existed there. So we'll take a look at that so you guys can see it and then analyze the daily time frame. But as of right now, what bulls have been doing is really breaking the key levels, because you think about it, you consolidated for here for so long and then you crack this. How many people fell for it? How many people said, this is weak, right? The narrative is always the more you touch it, the weaker it gets. Well, they touched it a lot and you're not able to break it. So somebody said new all-time highs. Yeah, we just have to find out right now. If you, for instance, take this range here that you're in, where's the POC? Oh, there it is. So what happens if you crack this POC? What is the price telling you?
If we crack the
They're happy
POC,
in that range.
they will auction higher to fill up the gap.
No, but what is the price telling you relative to value?
They're happy in that range, in that value.
But if you're above the POC.
Oh, then they want to go higher.
But what is it telling you in terms of price and value? You're telling me that they want to go higher, but I'm asking you in context of price and value. If you have a lot of if your price action is happening above the fair POC, this line is the fairest price we see right now in this consolidation. And if the price is going away from that, right? it didn't go
Other-
spend a lot of time below it, but it wants to go above it and spend time. What is it telling you about the value? Is it shifting?
that it's shifting upwards and
Yeah,
other time frame buyers.
Yeah, shifting upwards, and there's some, there's a little bit of hopefully buying tail maybe, unless this is a true for low. That'd be that'd be really interesting if they did that. Let's see if it's a poor low.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a poor low. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. What period is this? Oh,
L&M.
oh man, that's all M period. So what should you guys look at now? It is M period. So what do you guys want to look?
Settle price.
Okay, anyone else?
The spike?
Yeah. What about spike?
Um,
Oh, the base.
yeah, the range of it.
Okay. So your K period was pretty low, right? So where is the spike? Let me change this 30 minutes. Because you guys can find the bullish spikes. Are you guys able to figure out also the bearish one, or? As soon as this loads.
Well, technically, this spike isn't the M up,
Yeah,
not
it is.
down.
This is M up, but
So that's bullish if it's
uh,
moving up.
yeah, it's a bullish spike back to value in the last period. So
It's crazy.
is there a spike or not?
I would say no because it's overlapping, but
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. So what is a bearish spike? When at the end of the day you sell off, right?
A bear spike would be like a tail.
Okay.
You'd see where it'd be lower. That's what I would expect. I don't know.
So would there be a spike? No, I'm asking you, is there a
I
spike?
would say,
here?
as far as I understand, there would be no spike.
Okay. So the spike definition is when the price moves away or into the value in the last period.
I think there was one.
So if it's into this value, then yeah, there was that one if it's moving into the value. I always thought it was away.
Yep. So it could go in or out because it doesn't matter if it's in and out. Can you verify any of it? Is there another period that tells you where they opened and where they pushed back to see if that's being rejected? Because this means that, there's potential buyers at this level, right? But it left a poor low. So if it was really aggressive buyers, did you need 2 sessions to go down? Right? No, you did not, right? In a proper auction, you don't need these 2. Just need 1. So you have a poor low, and then you have this, your L and K overlap. At least you can look at it that way. Some people would go here, or you could start all the way from L. I like to eliminate the previous letter, and I start the base of 74, and then wherever they closed, say the M period.
Up the M.
Yep. So 88.25. Maybe if my math's wrong, I thought it was lower for quarter.
So would you say then you're considering it's bullish above the spike?
Considered bullish above this spike. As long as they don't come back and visit, that means that there was aggressive buyers here, and most likely they're rejecting prices lower. But bullish in terms of close, then you have to look at, are you above 94? So if you open here and then you quickly fell, right? You fall quickly here below this 88, you can't be really bullish, right? They just took a second to react to it.
We never even hit 94.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I hadn't paid
No, I'm
attention.
saying we haven't even hit 94 since it went back up. It never actually came back and touched the POC.
Are we trading above it or below it now?
We're below it. We're below the
Oh.
POC.
Okay.
And we were at that time too.
Yeah. But this is interesting. I mean, how they, some would say this was easy day to trade, right? But do you guys think this is fairly easy to trade?
Mhm.
No.
No.
This is not an easy day to trade. I mean, somebody tells you this is super easy to trade. I mean, just look away. You have a B period, IB set, then you have an immediate extension of IB, and then what do you have? You're basically building TPOs. What? You put in a higher high, put in a higher high, then lower high, lower high, lower high, higher low, higher low, higher low on those lower highs here, and then you put in a lower high and a lower low. So this period was really, 87 was a good level to short when they came here, but not an easy day to trade this. You're breaking below the IB, but what is it lacking?
Aggression.
A follow through.
Well, it needs follow through, right? I mean, you just started the session and then you're immediately saying that stop, let's look for value here.
Mhm.
When you have market participants that are ready to sell, and let's say they know the news, do you really think they would stop and be like, hey, there's value here? You think the guy on the client's phone, he's gonna be like, hey man, get rid of my 2 million contracts, but pretend there's value in 94.
No.
Logically think about it, right? When somebody's panic selling, do you really think they give a shit if they're gonna get a quarter more or less, or 5 points more or less? They really don't
No.
care, right? They're trying to get rid of it. And if they can get fulfilled, as long as you have people buying liquidity, remember earlier we talked about if you have them buying, they're going to look to sell. And few times today, right, they would have the spike and then immediate sell off. And it's similar to what happened before, but it feels like they bring the price up and then they slam the sell button because somebody's been conditioned for what lately?
Buy the dips.
All-time
Well,
highs.
it's been buy the dips and it's still buy the dips until we lose that weekly level. Then they might play buy the dips, but then you might see lower lows. They play buy the dips, then they see lower lows, and then the bulls that were not, you can't stay a bull forever or a bear forever. At some point, your mind has to kind of, okay, I'm a bull, I'm a bear. That's why we do these analysis on daily. Right now, tomorrow we'll know if we're a bull or bear, right? Based on what we're seeing in terms of the M period. Do you guys agree? On the
Yeah.
weekly, are we a bull or a bear?
Neutral. It's right in the
Thank
middle.
you. Thank you. That's what I want to make sure everybody understand. You're neutral.
Yep.
Is there anyone confused why it's neutral? Whoever comes in and you're new, this was a massive sell-off for you and you're terrified and you're short here. There's no reason that anyone should have swung short after this. Does that make sense? Even though that this bounce is telling you something very important. What is it telling you? Who's paying attention? Come on. What's the difference between this?
Staying in balance.
What's the difference between this bounce and this bounce here?
A higher low.
Well, whoever answers this, I will send you a gift. What's the difference between these two bounces?
Or low
bounce.
and a higher low.
Core low. Good job. Yeah. So this one here showed clear what?
Excess.
Aggression.
Aggression. Confidence was here to go higher. They came here and they needed 2 sets of periods, right? Which makes it a poor low, which indicates what?
Certainty.
How's the
It can go
confidence
Gonna
on
be
this?
revisit.
Or lower.
Is this candle confidence same as this one?
No.
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 Yeah. Now think, they're making it seem like it is, are they not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're also making a candle. If you look at like the hourly, you have a large volume green candle, larger than any volume candle that you've had in a while for the
Yeah.
end
Yeah.
of the day, which looks
It's-
bullish in that respect.
It's very close to this candle. And if you're to measure everything, the width of the body and, percentages of the wicks,
Yep.
it's identical. But that difference is why market profile gives you the market generated information. So let's say tomorrow we open above 94.25 and we immediately crack it.
Okay.
What would that tell you?
Well,
Oof.
they're looking above, but I'm not convinced until they break through the single prints above it.
Well, that's correct. That would mean, you want them to crack this and make this higher high. For me, 102 is still the level that you have to kind of crack. 94, I start turning, I would be like, yeah, I'm a little bit bullish, but would I play this area right here? I'll be a little careful. Does everybody see why? Damn, this drawing tool, I'm making dinos out of nowhere. Why would I not be immediately bullish on this POC?
You have a poor low.
Well, you have a poor low, but then, pay attention to the high volume nodes. You have this one, and then this
Spent a lot of
POC.
time below.
Say it again.
They spent a lot of time below, it looks like.
Yeah, they spent time here as well. They spent time, when you think about time, you could measure this, right? Take the fixed and adjust the TPOs to see how much time they've spent. And it wouldn't take much to figure it out, right? You could combine it, composite. But also, they went above, they didn't like it, right? They went to the bottom of the value area low. They're most likely, if I was to spend a lot of time, where do you guys think they spend a lot of time tomorrow?
At that CPOC.
This area that you have right here might be the one that they try to build value around. And why wouldn't they? Are they not telling
There's a lot of volume.
Isn't this telling you they're happy trading here?
Yeah.
So if they're happy trading here, why would I expect fireworks immediately tomorrow? If they go inside here and then they break this zone here or this zone here, then something changed. Then the acceptance of the price is different. They're no longer finding this as valuable. And either you're going to go higher from that or lower from that. Do I care? No, but I know the levels I need to play. If you crack out of this, should I take this trade of 99.5 to go to 102? I can't, right? But maybe you guys can take 2-3 points in the middle of the day and look for a major, look here and a candle for 3 points. Not worth it. There's no, it's not good for you. Not good for your heart. If they go above here tomorrow, let's say at 102 with weak volume, and you go above, and then the volume spikes and you crack this level, how would you treat that?
Cracks breaking back down or bounces off?
No, but breaks it down with higher volume.
Looks over and fails?
Yeah.
That's bearish.
And the volume checks in the directional performance and the knowing that this is a big level here, right? You would look for potential crack at here, and then you could peel some off in 94 because then you would be coming to a fair price. People that short fair price, right, until it's established, it's not very good. And the less trades you initiate at POC, the better your volume profile statistics on trading will be, right? Is there a chance that we build value here tomorrow? Yeah, if we stay with an IB, it's going to be sell the top, buy the bottom the whole day. It might even kill the whole day, even if JPOW is speaking, right? It would make sense, right? If they're happy there, wouldn't you go? This is a stupid example, but if you're happy at some place, you would come back and revisit it, right? Nonstop. And if they're happy there, they feel safe there within the price. They're not at the extremes. That means they're hedged. They're really, really protected. When they went above the, some levels like previous week all-time high, they got brought back down, right, out of the fear. Somebody was fearing something and caused aggression down. Now you're back in value, right? Until proven otherwise, you short any crack and look above is about 102. And where would you guys go for longs in this case now?
I mean,
A retest of
The
sorry,
Retest of what?
the retest of that 102. If we don't break it and we bounce off of it,
If you're a responsive player, should you be a responsive player or initiative player in the bracketed market?
responsive.
Wait for the stuff to hit you each time.
Okay, so at what levels do you want the price to hit you? At what levels here do you want it? So here would you
The
be,
value area high, the value area low, or the POC.
or look aboves and then you fail them and then you have a stop sell or a stop buy, right? You would have resting orders in order to get into a trade. You're not looking to break any levels yourself for initiation. So tomorrow's game is about waiting for levels, look above and fails. Especially this 88.25. If they fail, then we know the poor low here is telling you what?
Come and get me.
It's gonna try a little.
I go there.
Gonna go lower.
She got that right. Yeah.
Okay.
So it means coming at me. So this has a high chance to be resolved tomorrow, especially considering what shape profile do we have today?
Oh, is it a lowercase b, I think?
Yep. So they came and recovered the lowercase b. So if this is, imagine what kind of craziness would be tomorrow if we traverse this whole area on a bull run tomorrow. How crazy would that be?
Typical for the day, how it's been.
Well, I mean, usually when they hit these bottoms, right? If you pay attention, when they hit the bottoms, they usually went to the extreme opposite.
Yep.
They went here, they spent time, went above, and then if you go here, I mean, you're in a bad, what can you go opposite? And look here, you click opposite. So now a real behavior change would happen in terms of price and what it means for the market. We haven't seen this yet. We haven't seen it past 18 weeks, which is almost a record. It needs a couple of more weeks, and you guys are experiencing that something you've never experienced before. Having all the bubbles you can have and being at all-time high, 16 out of 18 weeks were bullish. You guys should write that down. It's pretty impressive, right? So now if this sentiment was to change, we need to start framing down, right? We need to take out the low of the weekly, right? We need to find where was the last, previous week low. Okay, well, it's here. It needs to crack through that. Or RTH, I think, would be about 67 or something like that. If you're going off of RTH. So here you would find, right, this week here, and you would put, this is your framing down, 67. Yeah. If you close below this, what would that mean down on the weekly?
Reject that whole value.
Looking for value lower.
You have not found value.
You're rejecting the higher values, and you're going to seek previous values that you found that are valuable, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's in play now. And then if we crack this POC, then again, that means they want higher prices above the fairest price until you're met by sellers.
Shorty, if I'm looking at this, what I see is 50-52 as the next zone down.
Yeah, 52
and
a
half.
half.
50. Well, actually, maybe down to 50-15.
I mean,
breaks that area all the way down to 50-15 being the range.
Yeah, so I mean, you could take this swing low. to this swing high, and then you will get a little bit of a picture of what's happening. You have a little bit of congestion here, pretty wide area, right? And there's a lot of, I would say, fixing to do. So, I mean, you're looking here at 49, this area here. If you're just focusing on this area to see how's this profile looking, you see here, you're looking at 50, 42, and a 75, right below that. And I remember this level. I actually had it on my charts.
Yeah, that was very important level before.
Yep. So if you crack that, this should be a really, really big level, right? There's a lot of value here, you know, that you're retesting value area high, value, you know, POCs are up top. So that's important, right? From here, they found higher prices. So if from here they made higher highs again, this actually truly might be the level they're retesting to push higher, right? If they want to set a trap here, right? Once we lose this level, and if you guys read, has anyone read Shorty's Corner and remembers anything what I said about this level?
The trap area.
Yeah, it was several times highlighted as trap.
So
in fact, on the last job report time, we expected that, you know, people will be trapped here.
So look, if you do lose 66 and go below 52.5, watch for 43.5 to surprise folks. What that means in plain English is if they crack this, this would be a really, really good spot to trap some shorts. Because at the same time, you'd be, you know, you're a few points inside value area high, 7 points, blink of an eye. And they're out of that and they're accepting price much higher out of this value. Here comes my diagram. Out of this area, you're saying yes. You come here and then you go higher. That would be like a clear yes. You're ready to go. But how many people are turning like bear sentiment already? This is it. Right? Remember, they come in when the price is below value. They also come in when the price is above value. Our job is to figure out how strong is their reaction, right? There's a high chance we're going to retest this 66. I don't think we make a new all-time high from here because of that poor low. And it's tomorrow is going to tell us a lot if these bears are a little bit different or not. Because by all means, they need to crack that low that they put in today, tomorrow. And why is that? Why not give them a day or two to kind of relax? Does that, if I relaxed it, does that show you panic selling that I'm eager to get rid of it?
No.
No. Would you be more confident in a short tomorrow? We hopped right out of the bet, 30 minutes in, you're putting in a new low. Would that tell you market confidence a little bit more than if you spent another day or 2 and 3 and went to the all-time highs again and then come back? Yeah, it would mean the sellers are eager to get rid of their inventory and they're looking, you know, the aggressive sellers are absorbing who?
Passive buyers.
The passive buyers. Then they're taking them slowly out. They're taking out wherever they're resting with those orders because everybody has a different value. And they're just hitting them one by one and erasing levels lower. So watch for this level tomorrow if they do breach, and then we'll monitor to see how they behave throughout the day. I'll be on. And hopefully you guys at least picked something up today in tonight's session.
Yes.
So Shorty to summarize,
Yes.
Say it again.
So basically it will be more prudent if we are short, just close your short around 52 and then see how market is doing, you know, in the 52-42 zone.
52 expect buyers to show up. 52.25 to a half expect buyers. They can step in. So whatever you're short, you're anticipating that they can come and defend the position. Unless on the first try they slice through it, right? Of course, that would mean that, you know, they got absorbed totally, right? We've been working on that guy or lady for some time now at the 66 level where we had the base. We've been dipping into that inventory lower and lower, right? So it's important to see, you know, is there a high chance you crack the 66, you go 52, or this low today that, you know, 63? Who wouldn't take that trade? If you crack 63 and you give them 3 points, right? And you're targeting 53. So you're talking about, let's say, 10 points. Can you not risk 3 points? Is that a bad trade?
I mean,
No.
I've got a former all-time high down at 48 plus a weekly value high down at 48.
Yeah, there's
Around the 48 and a quarter, 48 and a half zone.
yeah. So it's a pretty congested spot here, right? You're gonna take a lot of initiative selling. You're gonna have to see spike in volume to crack through this. It's a weekly time frame, so they're gonna have to bring some serious selling in order.
I also have all that as single print still that we have not
Well,
cleaned up yet.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, between 63 and 52 and a half, it's all
Yep.
single prints.
Yep.
So if you go here, let me hide this. Yeah, this is all, this was the, the end. This was your base, I'm sorry, excess low. Right here, so 52 and a quarter. So you fixed, I think you came to 63 right here today. So you fixed a little, but you still have 11 points, right? So they have quite a bit to go, right? And this area becomes potential for a bounce too. You see here that you got absorbed sellers, a lot of skinny volume here, not a lot. And then you have a little bit of pickup right here at 53 and a half. And if you look at the volume here, you can see the bid and the, the ask at each level. Seems like they picked it up right here somewhere, 53 and a half. They started having same orders. You see the same size ask. Somebody was pretty quick in that 53 and a half. Right here. They were super fast there. Sounds like Bean on trading. Market buy, market buy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you. Hopefully you guys picked something up. And I will add some levels here to the bottom just so you guys have it, as well as, potential takeoffs. There's some at level of 15 here. I think Bean was also alluding to that earlier, right? Somewhere in this area, you will have some turbulence and some potential bounces, liquidities, right? Dance in between and next till you get all the way here.
I had some
49.76.
POCs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had a whole
Yeah.
bunch of different stuff down there.
Yep. So I would watch for those zones, right? And there's quite a bit of gaps also to fill. So we'll be on the lookout to see. But tomorrow we got to break the weekly low. There's a lot of support there and a poor low. So if we see weakness out of the gate, they're going for it.
Based on the chart, do you think that ES looks easier to trade coming up here?
I would think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the only thing that you're gonna have here is, if depends how intelligent some people are and what they see. If people start buying here, the high, this where we close tomorrow. Let's say they start buying 94 and we see some weakness. Oh man, they're gonna get destroyed. And that's, if you're a bear, that's what you want to see tomorrow. Crack above that CPOC and then see a volume increase and price going below CPOC. That's the ideal scenario that you want to see, but who knows?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm thinking to, close all position and go on a straddle at 10 o'clock.
Are you doing like how far are you? What time is JPOW tomorrow?
10
7
o'clock.
or 10
10.
o'clock. Yeah.
So 10 to
I would-
10:15, he will have the statement for 15 minutes, and that's what going to drive the market.
Well, you also have jolts. You got all sorts of stuff coming in at 7 o'clock or at 10 o'clock.
If you want a friendly advice, I would say go on a hike between 9 a.m. and come back at 3:15 and get a lot of steps.
Genius.
And if you guys want to write chat, hey, I blew my account and I did not see this coming, then trade tomorrow all day. Don't leave the screen. You're gonna learn a lesson tomorrow. Might be a little rough tomorrow. If there's no confidence in the morning, the break reclaims of these key levels, like we said, don't be around too long. They can make it as choppy as you can imagine. They're at the fair price. They're inside value. So, and what if they give you a day like this? Like this zone here? You guys would prefer this, right?
Super fun.
This would be so much
Yeah.
fun for you guys. All right. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe not. Let's see what they do in the morning. Maybe I just look at the first 15 minutes and walk out.
Yeah, it'll
Thank
be a
you,
good
Shorty.
practice.
Have a good
Practice,
night.
not training. Trading.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care of the babies.
All right,
Good night.
thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
Good night.
you.
Night, everybody.